Welcome to the Crypto News. In today's video, Lynn Alden talks about the current market situation and what's next for the economy.
So I think in the long arc of time, deflation is kind of the outcome, because even in our current environment right now, let's say you have 3% inflation over a long period of time. If you look at the actual money supply, that might be 6% average money supply growth. Okay. And the question is, where's that other 3%, right? So if you have 3% inflation and money creation is actually 6%, it's really because there's a lot of innovation going to making prices cheaper on a regular basis. We can think of it in terms of TVs, computers, smartphones. So the underlying long-term arc is towards technological deflation. So things get cheaper over time, most things, especially when compared to whatever the hardest money is. So things priced in gold tend to get cheaper over time because we find better and better ways to produce more of them. But they tend to go up as priced in fiat currencies because we're making fiat currencies at a faster rate than that technological deflation. And so if you had a hard money environment, whether it's gold, which has like a 2% inflation rate, or Bitcoin, which tends towards a 0% inflation rate, you would incline towards, low negative inflation. I think that a couple of things converge. So one is the long-term debt cycle. And I think that a lot of that is fueled by central banking. Then two, you just have cultural shifts. You build up institutions, and after a number of generations, the institutions seem like they don't make sense anymore. It's a new technology, a new culture, and you start to get less and less trust and more corruption in those institutions, both public and private. And then coinciding with that is, we talked about in our prior episode, the commodity cycle, where and also the globalization cycle, where we've kind of arbitraged geographic labor and arbitraged energy and commodities. And so I think what we're seeing right now is this combination of the long-term debt cycle. So I think we're kind of getting the payback period for a multi-decade kind of price controls of money, essentially. And then we're also experiencing that specifically because we're at the phase of the commodity cycle and the supply chain cycle where it's hard not to have inflation. And because central banks and other factors have led to so much debt accumulation in the economy, they can't really raise rates, and they can't really kind of backstop and make sure that a currency kind of continues to be worth a certain amount of energy. And so I think that's where we're in now, where we have to go back to the 40s to find a similar type of extreme environment, at least in terms of fiscal and monetary policy. If you have peer-to-peer money that can be self-custodied, supported by encryption, it's much harder to kind of overlay essentially controlled ideas on how that money is going to transfer around. Basically, if you control the banking system, the way I would phrase it basically is that, before Bitcoin, if I wanted to send money to a friend in Tokyo, right, we had to go through banks. Yep. We had to go through these large permissioned entities. And so governments could control the gateways of where value is sent, and they don't have to impose on the people. They don't have to impose price controls on the people. They don't have to impose transfer controls on the people. They only have to target these well-known banks. But as soon as we had the invention of peer-to-peer money, that kind of depowers in some ways that institution, but it only works if enough people are understanding how to use this technology and centralize around a handful or one of them, rather than this kind of current hodgepodge of so many different things and a very small percentage of people actually using them. And so I think in the long run, yes. The idea is that a new type of money has been discovered. It's unusually hard, right? So in terms of, say, its stock to flow ratio, and it's decentralized and peer-to-peer. And that in the long run, the question was, why would you want to hold other types of money other than that money? Right now, you can make a case why you wouldn't want to put all your money in that. You don't know, it's only 13 years old, it's volatile, maybe it's small enough that governments could add a lot of frictions to it. They could make it harder. They could, try to hurt the value of it for a long period of time. But the more it grows, the more you think, why would I want to hold, yen? Why would I want to hold euros? Why would I want to hold a second house as a kind of a monetary asset? Why would I want to hold a painting when I can just hold the best money? So I think if it continues to work as expected, and if it gets past a number of challenges, I think it takes a pretty big chunk of global monetary share. So I would say it's a monetization process that clearly has a direction. And the question is, do any of the tail risks make it deviate from that destiny?
I have bad news for you. If you're not rich by now, you're screwed. And if you're in debt, you're even double screwed. How so, you might wonder? Well, the sad truth is that you're working your whole life to make someone else rich. The mega corporations, the banks, the politicians, everyone is getting richer. They get your money. And what is even worse, they get your time, they get your life. You are not even in a rat race, you're in a financial prison. But what could a solution for you look like? Honestly, I don't know, but I know what a solution for me would look like. It's very simple. I use whatever money I have and I multiply it with 1,000. This could make my life much easier and probably yours as well. If you have $1,000 available and multiply this with 1,000, I believe that this could solve some financial issue for the one or the other. Of course, if you're ugly, you would have to multiply it with much more than 1,000. My name is Marco Stan, and this is what I decided to do. I decided to 1000x my money. This is not a joke. I know what you may be thinking. What is this guy talking about? How should this work? This is not possible. Well, I made a detailed video where I laid out my plan. And some clever folks might even want to look at this plan and copy it and do exactly what I do. This is just a little hint on the side. You have two options. You leave, you forget what you have seen. You do whatever you're doing and you hope that somehow you get some other results. Good luck with that. Or you click the link below the video. You enter your email address because I'm not showing this to everybody. You at least watch my video on how I plan to 1000x my money. The choice is yours. Make the right choice. Join me. See what a different future you could have. See at least how I intend, how I plan to do the 1000x. So click on the link below, enter your email address, and I see you on the other side. Your Marco Stan.